Election day is 1 week away. The United States presidential election.
I thought it might be Merry Old England's election day.
No, they already blew it about 6 months ago.
All right.
So we've got a special Sync Points coming out.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we're doing Air Force One, the 1997 Die Hard on a Plane thriller with
Absolutely.
Harrison Ford as president, Glenn Close as vice president. So we're going to watch that along with friend of the We Studios, Harry Nelson.
Oh, yeah.
So you should check that out at weepodcast.com. That's WEE podcast.com. And you can check out our other sync points there. You can check out Batman, Superman, Home Alone 2.
A little thing called The Simpsons movie.
A little thing called The Simpsons
if anyone's
movie.
interested in that.
Yeah, we also have a Simpsons podcast. And, of course, we have other episodes of 90s Percentile.
Absolutely. And if you want to support us, all you got to do is go to amazon.wepodcast.com, and that helps keep the show free. Just shop on Amazon like you normally would. Jack, I think it's time to start this episode.
60 minutes are on the clock and straight out of We Studios, this is 90s Percentile. My name is Jack.
My name is Dan, and we're talking everything 90s and maybe also everything before and after. Mm-hmm. And Jack, we have a guest here today, not in studio. He's a remote guest.
On the roof?
He's on the roof.
Santa Claus?
Santa Claus is our guest for this Halloween episode of 90s Percentile.
Well, I've got a bone to pick with him.
I thought you were going to say I've got a boner, and Santa Claus is the reason why.
Nothing turns me on more than Christmas and Halloween.
Oh, boy. None of that is our guest today.
Oh, no?
Not the fictional Santa Claus.
The boner part?
The boner part may be accurate. No, we have a guest here today. He's Skyping in from Los Angeles, California. Brett Greenberg is our guest today. How you doing, Brett?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. By the way, I loved your pre-show little banter you just did. That was great.
We like to banter a little bit on this show.
I, honest to God, thought Santa was on the roof.
Well, he might be. He gets a head start. He's got to hit all those houses in one day.
Somebody's up there. Preempt a Halloween episode of the podcast by talking about Santa Claus.
It's never too early for Halloween and Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a... Wait, I don't want to say that. Never mind.
Of a white Halloween?
No,
we're not doing that.
No, that's a hashtag.
Nope. Brett's making faces, and deservedly so. Brett, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a big pain in the ass because your voice has to travel across the entire country.
Look how loud he's yelling.
Brett, how would people know your work? I guess tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, we've known each other since 2005.
2004, 2005, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
From college, and I moved out to LA after school to write comedy and be a lawyer. But the comedy stuff is more fun. And I
can second that.
Just wrote for Mad TV, and that was great. And hopefully, we're going to get another season of that. So.
Very cool.
Hopefully I'll be able to keep writing Mad TV. Yeah.
So
that'll be awesome.
I'm not too familiar with the way the reboot's going. Is there writers on staff from the old Mad TV?
Yeah, I'd say it's like half writers from the original show and half new writers.
Are you guys like the cool young upstarts and you're like, old man, let me tell the joke the way I want to tell it? Or is it a...
Yeah, kind of. We untuck our shirts and walk in. It's very much... It's very much like an old school
Sharks and Jets
school rivalry that we try to.
That is amazing.
Well, that's awesome. I hope you do get a second season.
Yeah, absolutely. While we're talking, you and I right before we started this podcast, we haven't spoken in a number of years. So I got some beefs to air with you live on my podcast.
All right, spoiler alert: Dan actually only invited you to be on the podcast because you owe him money.
That's exactly right. You owe me some Sammy bucks. You know what I'm talking about. You do. No, I don't think you actually do. No, I wanted to talk to you about, you did a short that people might have seen on, I think, Funny or Die, right?
Yeah.
What was it called?
It was a few years ago.
It was a few years ago. The Spirit of 420, is that what it was called?
Yeah, that's right.
Another holiday that is not today, Halloween. So I just wanted to, could you talk a little bit about that? Because it's very funny.
Based on when we were in the house together, we were in the same fraternity.
Yeah.
420 was such a huge deal. Everyone
hypothetically.
Hypothetically, 420 was a big deal, not because it's Hitler's birthday, for different reasons altogether.
But it was celebrated, and it was a revered, sacred day.
Definitely.
And I always loved that because it was just really funny to me. And I was we were talking about a second ago, I love Christmas. So I'm actually glad that you talked about Santa Plaza a few minutes ago.
All right.
And I wanted to do a short where 420 was celebrated like Christmas, and it was really fun. It was I did it for MTV and Funny or Die.
It's a very funny skit. You should check it out. We'll put a link somewhere in the show notes too. Awesome. Very cool. So, I guess without further ado, Brett, as our guest, it is your right to choose a 90s topic, or you can go into the random topic generator, which features submissions submitted by listeners at weepodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com.
And do it through that website.
Don't just yell at us on the street.
I'm just sick and tired of like walking
Are people
down the
actually
street.
yelling topics at you?
Somebody's like
People
across
are
the
just
street.
like, hit me, baby, one more time. And I'm like, do you mean the song, or are you asking me to hit you? I already hit you once. I already can't hit you one more time.
Well, I want to know, can you say some of the topics that are submitted before I just pick a topic that isn't one of those topics?
Well,
I'm just curious.
It would be random, so I'd have to.
Well,
it would be tough.
We could probably guess.
We could
guess what's in there.
Yeah, I would wager that there's
Enya's Sail Away.
That's probably in there, so that could be your topic.
I don't know.
Home Improvement is in there.
I'm going to go with Boy Meets World.
Okay.
I'm going to not do the random topic generator.
All right.
That's a great pick.
That is a great pick. We were talking about Boy Meets World not that long ago. Brett, I know just from knowing you personally, you are a huge Boy Meets World fan. Is that fair to say?
It's very fair. I own the first 3 seasons on DVD.
The classic Boy Meets World seasons, obviously.
What happened?
Yeah, classic. Only up to season 3 though, because well, they stopped making it after season 3, so I don't even remember. I would totally own the other seasons if they did.
Wait, they actually did stop just making DVDs?
Did they? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like my wife owns season 5.
And that's the only
And
DVD?
like that's it. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Like whatever.
Season 5 would have been like they were in high school.
Yeah, it's like it might be their senior year in high school season. Which
that was actually a really dramatic season.
Yeah, and that season, since today is Halloween, if you're listening to the day it comes out, it had this crazy Halloween special that had Jennifer Love Hewitt in it. Do either of you remember this one? And she played Jennifer Love Pfefferman. I feel like I talked about this when we were talking about Boy Meets World the first time.
Yeah. Let me explain where I'm coming from here.
Okay.
I've only watched the first 2-3 seasons. I watched the later seasons here or there. Dan, actually, we didn't talk about Boy Meets World specifically, but we did talk about TGIF about a month ago.
We did.
And Dan said that to him, Boy Meets World is the definitive TGIF show. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I disagreed. I'm not a huge Boy Meets World fan. I love the first season. I love the 6th grade episode. I love the second season with Mr. Turner. He
had a cool leather jacket, so he was cool.
Leather jacket. He rode a motorcycle.
But pretty much as soon as
he takes in wayward teens, just like the cool teacher at your school does.
As soon as
he was basically dead in one episode. He was as in a coma as anyone could possibly be.
Did he?
But then he survived, and he was in Girl Meets World, the reboot.
Oh, was he really?
Mr. Turner's in that?
Mr. Turner lives.
That's surprising because I feel like he was in one season and then completely written off the show.
And he was the
that's
best
right.
character?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So it's weird they bring him
But
back.
that was a common thing for Boy Meets World. They would constantly do something, commit to it 100%, and then just abandon it and reboot a major plot or a character.
And that's what I want to say. So pretty much as soon as he hit puberty and he was like his fun curly hair, like my curly hair growing up, became man hair. I don't know. I just kind of stopped watching it.
So when he hit puberty?
Yeah, I picked up on it late, like the last season when Matthew Lawrence was on it.
Right.
But I want to talk about all of this, obviously.
Sure, we'll get into
Brett's
it.
a big fan, but I just want to say I'm not nearly as much of a fan as you guys. I only really remember the first season and the first 2 seasons.
I mean, I would say this is a show I watched pretty heavily, and not even like I liked it that much. It was just on, and I feel like it was on a lot. Like just in the late 90s.
It was on a lot, but it was also funny. It was like a lot funnier than the other TGIF shows.
Yeah.
And it had heart.
It had some heart to it too. But I want to go back to what you were saying about how they would introduce things, commit to them, and then totally drop them. Are you talking about either Minkus or Topanga being like the weird girl and then slowly evolving into Corey's lifelong soulmate, destined to be together forever?
Those are both great examples.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of the whole Eric character, who had about 3 different versions of the same character.
All right, let's talk about him.
Cool older brother.
Yep.
For a while. Then he became the just idiot.
Yep.
Just dumb. And then he was a cartoon character.
Yeah, basically. He devolved.
He devolved.
Yeah.
Didn't Libby disappear too?
Yes.
And then there was like
Libby.
a joke.
That was their younger sister, I believe.
Libby? Was it Libby?
I don't know if her name was Libby.
Lily.
Lily.
Her name was Lily
Okay.
with an L.
Is
We got the expert here,
Libby
so-
might be the girl from Everybody Loves Raymond.
That could
but,
be it.
She disappeared for a while, and then like late in the season, she came back and like, "You've been up. I've been up in my room forever."
That's exactly right. Yeah, she was gone
Yeah.
for like seasons and then came back and it was like, I feel like I've been upstairs forever.
I had my period, and nobody came and explained it.
She comes down,
Why
hey,
is it
Ma.
like a Brooklyn man voice for the little 8-year-old girl.
It's me, your
I've been
sister.
upstairs
Lily.
forever.
How you doing, Mom and Dad? I went through some changes while I was upstairs.
It's been a long time in that attic.
I had
Now.
I had to come down. I ran out of cigars.
Oh my God. I want to talk about Eric more because you're totally right that Eric had these definite eras that he went through. But I'll be honest, he was my favorite character, especially cartoon character Eric, just like towards the end when he was on Singled Out in an episode, which
Yep.
I love that one.
Who was hosting Singled Out at the time?
It was Chris Hardwick.
So Chris Hardwick was on Boy Meets World?
Yes, and they made a joke because Chris Hardwick had this really like floppy 90s hair, and so did Eric, Will Friedel on Boy Meets World, and they were like, "Oh, your hair looks so good," and it's like, "Your hair looks good too." Just like that's a joke, I suppose.
I think Will Friedel should be hosting a post Girl Meets World like Talking Dead type show.
Talking girl.
Talking Girl.
That's a confusing name for a show. Talking Girl.
Meeting Girl via World.
Also very confusing and misleading.
Actually, Will Friedel, and I didn't watch it, but I just saw it today. He posted something that was Eric Matthews runs for president.
Oh
In
man.
character.
Now is that like a plot they're gonna do on Girl Meets World or something? Has he been on it? Is that show still even on?
I think so. I think it's doing well, right?
Okay.
I think they've done like 3 seasons, and at that point, Disney, it's always sort of up in the air where they're going to do a 4th. Because
Sure.
at that point,
been on that
kids get
long?
old and
God.
expensive.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much he's been on the show. I think he's been on like 1 or 2, but
Okay.
I don't think that's related to the show. I think it's just a sketch.
Got it.
But it wouldn't like, it wouldn't be out of character
No,
for
definitely
Eric to
not.
then become very intelligent and be a senator and then run for president.
And
So
Mr.
based on-
Feeney, obviously his vice president.
Oh wow, yeah.
I like that you said he posted it today. That means that you probably follow him on some sort of social media. Is that fair to say, Brett?
It's not unfair to say.
All
I'm
right.
surprised you don't, Dan. You've got a bit of a man crush on him.
You know what? Honestly, I'm surprised too. I really love Will
I've
Friedel.
got a
I
question.
think he's great.
I've got a question. Do you like Batman Beyond more because he's voiced by Will Friedel, or do you like Will Friedel? Did you start liking Will Friedel more because you realized he was Terry McGinnis?
I think a bit of both.
It was a two-way street.
It was a two-way street. I learned both facts simultaneously. I was like, oh, this is the guy from Boy Meets World.
Scenario.
A classic. A classic Eric Matthews, Terry McGinnis chicken and egg scenario.
And that sentence has never been said before.
Nope. That's what you get on 90s Percentile. Sentences that have never been said.
Riddles for the ages. Which came first, the Friedel or the McGinnis?
That's right. It's a great paradox of our
You know what
age.
else I enjoyed about that Eric in
Sure.
that era where he was on Singled Out on the show?
Yeah.
For a few episodes, his life's mission was to become a weatherman.
Yes, I remember that.
He'd be a good
Totally
weatherman.
never spoken of again.
Yeah, right. That was like his dream, that because he was like the one. Because Singled Out, you had like a bunch of people and they got narrowed down, and it was like 1 versus 100, but a dating show version.
Yeah.
So he was like the one looking for a date, and yeah, I remember it got sad at the end because he was like, I never went to college, and like
Was that before or after he adopted a little redheaded boy?
Oh, I
He
think that was
adopted a
before
boy?
because I don't remember that happening on
He-
Boy Meets World. That sounds like
It
a
totally
very.
happened on Movie's World.
That's like a great
adopted
Gazoo
him.
moment.
Yeah, he adopted him and then eventually gave him back because he wasn't ready to be
Oh
adopted.
my god, that poor boy.
I do not remember that one.
I'm finally free of the orphanage. Thank you, Mr. Matthews. No, don't send me back.
Mean to me there.
I do
I want to
horrible.
live with Matthew Lawrence and the redheaded woman.
And especially because he's redheaded, that basically makes him a male Annie. He's a Manny.
He was a man.
He was a manny.
Yeah.
But imagine if Daddy Warbucks sent him back.
Well, Eric was no Daddy Warbucks, that's for sure.
He should have been.
But he was
boy.
old to the point where he could understand like how messed up that whole situation was. It wasn't like he was a 3-year-old kid and he just sort of
Right.
followed.
Get a cat first.
And they play it for laughs, I'm assuming, right? We're just like, back to the orphanage. Oh, man.
Oh, you guys froze.
Nice. That's a good moment to freeze on. Me going, oh, man.
I thought that was a bit.
No. It's one of our classic freeze frame bits.
Freeze frame.
Jay Giles, man.
So why did you stop watching Boy Meets World? Was it because you didn't care for the first couple?
No, I don't really remember why it just kind of stopped. I mean, if it was on TGIF, I definitely watched TGIF well into high school.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
Boy Meets World, not even just Eric changing. The entire show seemed to change almost from season to season. Like, they had, how many theme songs did they have on Boy Meets World? They went through like 4 different ones.
The first one was like the
that
the
one.
second one was the cool kid leaning on the globe and the globe running him over. Then
Right.
I stopped watching it when it
this
got...
boy meets world.
I stopped watching it when it got
Remember that
really
one.
dramatic, yeah.
And then I feel like they just cut that entirely.
I didn't like the melodrama. I like the dopey sitcom. I love my favorite season's the Minkus season.
Right.
Where it's just a dumb junior high sitcom.
Yeah.
Well, although I also really like the Turner season. And the guy that played Turner's best friend, I think he was from PCU.
Alex Dessert. He's the Swingers.
Yeah.
Swingers and PCU
PCU
and High
and
Fidelity.
Becker.
And Becker. Yes.
That was
Classic.
that was my favorite season, the second season.
I think that's a good
Was
choice.
that with Adam Scott?
Adam Scott came later. And my love of Adam Scott definitely comes from Boy Meets World, too. That was like season 4, maybe? 3 or 4?
Yeah, well, he was the second. Like, there was one bully named Harley Kiner.
Yeah.
Right.
Who was more of like a traditional, like, leather jacket. Hey, what are you doing here? I'm going to beat up a little kid kind of bully.
Classic Lily.
And then, Adam Scott was more of like a swindler, kind of like a smooth talking guy.
Just like you'd picture Adam Scott to be
Yeah,
nowadays.
exactly.
Yeah, I believe his name was Griff Hawkins. Is that right?
definitely
I'm just
Griff.
pulling this out of my head.
That's right. Here's a question for you. Do you know who he brought to detention as entertainment?
Oh man.
I remember this. It was like Tom Petty or it was somebody big like that, wasn't it?
I don't remember. All I can think of, I'll say what I can think of later. It's a different episode, but I don't remember. Who was it?
It was Robert Goulet.
Robert Goulet.
That's the same.
He's on the
thing.
same level as Tom Petty, I would say. Yeah. I was going to say, was it the wrestler Vader? Because I remember there was an episode of Boy Meets World where...
that was Griff's dad, wasn't it? Or...
No, not Griff's dad. It was...
the Ethan Suplee.
Ethan Suplee. I don't remember what his name was on Boy Meets World. He was in Mallrats, and he was the brother on My Name is Earl.
I can tell you that's why I loved Ethan Suplee.
His name was Frankie.
Frankie, yeah.
Yes.
Actually, the three of them all did all right because you had Frankie, Ethan Suplee, who did after the Kevin Smith movies and My Name is Earl. You had Adam Scott, who's obviously doing great. And the third kid... was in Rilo Kiley with Jenny Lewis.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Salute Your Shorts.
Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that.
So there you go.
There you go. Everyone's doing well.
It pays to be the bullies on Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Except Will Friedel.
Except Will Friedel. He does some voiceover work.
AMC, if you're listening, Talking Girl, or I guess it would be
No,
Disney.
hang on a second. You think AMC should air this show?
It should be
an after show for another network's
It should air
children's sitcom.
I think it should air after Walking Dead. Now hear me out. Girl Meets World. I'm sure it's a great show.
Walking Dead.
But Walking Dead's got the ratings. Walking Dead, that's the show you want to follow.
Yeah.
So look, you're watching Walking Dead. Your favorite character just got crushed in the face.
Yep.
What do you want to watch next? Will Friedel doing a recap of a Girl Meets World episode from 6 months prior. This is why I should be running networks.
Jack, I think that's an excellent idea. I know some people. I'm going to talk to them.
Okay, please do.
All right. Yeah, Will Friedel does a lot of voiceover work now. I mean, obviously he did Batman Beyond. He also did Batman: The Brave and the Bold, but he doesn't.
Who did he do in that?
He was the voice of the Blue Beetle. A lot of bees. Batman Beyond, Blue Beetle.
That's it.
Why couldn't he have? Why couldn't he have taken the next step? I loved him in the Trojan War.
You are the only other person, and I would expect you to be the only other person who has even heard of that movie.
I've never heard of it. I don't know what it is. Can I guess that it's some kind of comedy about condoms?
You can guess that because we talked about it on this show like 5 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I told you the plot is he needs to get a condom so he can bang Jennifer Love Hewitt.
That. Yeah. Jennifer Love Finkelstein.
Jennifer Love Pfefferman. That was on Boy Meets World. They dated after they filmed that movie for like a year and a half.
See, I can't keep up. They need to do a recap of this movie
You're right.
after The Walking Dead.
They need talking Will Friedel and Jennifer Love Hewitt's relationship.
In the Trojan War.
10 o'clock Sunday nights, AMC. Check it out.
Hey, this is Chris Hardwick. Just real quick before the break, we're gonna have Will Friedel. We're gonna have Jennifer Love Hewitt. We're gonna have some random actress from Community. It's gonna be great. We're gonna be talking Jennifer Love Hewitt right after this. Hashtag talking with Friedel. Blah, 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 blah.
I should say we love Chris Hardwick and the Talking Dead series of television shows. They are phenomenal, and everyone should watch them.
He has great hair.
It's just so weird to think when Chris Hardwick was doing Singled Out, he was very, very famous. Like, because MTV was huge then.
Yeah.
But no one ever would expect that he would just have a sequel to his career as someone who's 10 times as famous as that person was.
Yeah, it's weird because obviously when Singled Out started, you had Chris Hardwick and Jenny McCarthy, and Jenny McCarthy blew up, and she was like the one, and it was like, oh, Singled Out with Jenny McCarthy, and Chris Hardwick was kind of pushed to the side. And nowadays, Jenny McCarthy's like, vaccines are bad, I'm crazy. And Chris Hardwick is just like, zombies are crazy, right? That's my impression of both of them.
Although I'm sure Hardwick is getting paid lots of money right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Jenny McCarthy's still worth more money.
Well, she does things still, right? Wasn't she on like The Chew or The Chat or like some View knockoff
I think
show?
it was The Tooth.
The Tooth? She was married to Jim Carrey, or they were engaged.
Yeah. They were together for a while. Yeah. But anyway.
So Will Friedel. Oh, so there's one. So I remember one late episode that I watched from the later seasons. It was when there was a bar set, like a basement bar.
Yes.
Where they would come down and it was like the college bar, I guess. And I remember Matthew Lawrence and Will Friedel were trying to start a frat, or they were trying to convince this guy that there was a frat on campus.
Yes, this sounds very familiar.
And it had a joke that to this day I remember because I love it. He's like, the guy's like, what's the name of your frat? And they go, Magnum Pie.
Yes, I do remember that.
And
That's not a bad joke. It's not a bad joke.
The fact that it's some guy came up with that in the Boy Meets World writers' room 20 years ago, and we're talking about it right now. That says something.
That's a joke with some legs.
So you said Eric Matthews didn't go to college, so why was he in this frat scene?
Well, I think eventually he did, right, Brett?
He did. It was a struggle.
Yeah.
It was not easy for him to get into college, but he went into the dean's office. He had a college admissions interview.
Is the dean Mr. Feeney?
We'll talk about that in a second.
The dean. Are you asking if the dean there is Mr. Feeney?
No.
The Matthews house?
That does happen later. But we're going to talk about Mr. Feeney in a minute. I want you to just finish explaining how Eric went to college.
Yeah, so he's too afraid for his college admissions interview because he thinks he doesn't have he doesn't know his potential. Eventually, he comes around, storms into the office, and says, "I want my interview. Everyone's telling me I have so much potential, and I never live up to it. Well, here's my chance. Now give me my interview." And she says, "I think you just had it."
Whoa.
And that gets him into Pembroke,
which
is, I guess, an Ivy League college.
I guess,
It's Ivy League?
Well, now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't he go... Corey and Topanga and Sean also go to Pembroke, right?
Why didn't they just make it
all go to
UPenn?
Pembroke, yes.
So wouldn't you feel terrible? Like, Topanga was like a straight-A student, and all of a sudden, like, she has reached the exact same level in life that dumb idiot Eric Matthews has reached.
Yeah, Topanga actually turned down Yale to go to Pembroke for Corey.
Right, I do remember that.
College?
Which is the kind of drama that you, Jack, didn't really appreciate.
I missed that.
I thought was great.
It shaped who you were as a person, Brett.
Why didn't they just make it UPenn? Because that is in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah. They were in Philly, weren't they?
They were. Corey loved the Phillies.
Yeah, that's true.
That's part of the reason why I love the show so much, because it's Philly.
Yeah, that's true.
That
That's
makes
right.
sense.
I forgot.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about Mr. Feeney real quick, because Mr. Feeney, when the show started, was the 6th grade teacher, right?
Yeah, and he was famous.
Yes.
He was probably the biggest name on the show at this point.
Right, William Daniels.
William Daniels for Kit and St. Elsewhere.
Yes.
I mean, for Knight Rider and St. Elsewhere.
Yeah, he was the voice of Kit on Knight Rider. He was in St. Elsewhere. He's like an actor. He's still alive, I think.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah.
All right, possible. Yeah, so he was their teacher in 6th grade, and then when they got out of 6th grade, they have to keep him on the show somehow. So
he was also the next door neighbor in the first season, right? Or was that a retcon?
He was always the next.
He was always the next door neighbor. Okay.
Yeah.
He was the Wilson.
He was the Wilson, that's actually a pretty good, if you're doing a sitcom about a kid and having his teacher live next door, that's a pretty good little setup to get some stakes and some tension.
Hey, stop blowing those leaves in my lawn.
I'm trying to take a nap. I've been up here
Not
for
everyone
years.
on the show had that accent. You gave the same accent to Mr. Feeney
This
and
is the
Lily,
standard
who
Philly accent.
have
You
a
should
difference
know.
of about 74 years in age.
I think we know what the Philly accent sounds like.
Hey, let's go Phillies. I'm a
two New
fanatic
Yorkers.
here.
They're going to go all the way this year. The Phillies are going to take it.
We're gonna go have a constitutional convention.
Yeah, they talk about history and cheesesteaks and throwing beer cans and sporting events.
That's it. And
It's
Mr. Feeney.
always sunny.
And It's Always Sunny.
It's
A show
always
that came
fun.
out.
Will
years
Smith,
later.
Bill Cosby.
Oh man. Oh boy. But getting back to Mr. Feeney.
AIDS.
AIDS. Because of the movie Philadelphia. I get you. A classic 90s film. Mr. Feeney, no, he was the 6th grade teacher and the neighbor, and then he was promoted to principal so that he would still be around when they were in 7th and 8th
Well,
grade.
he's transferred, wasn't he? Isn't it different schools?
Well, maybe it was a different school.
It's like I think it was the middle school that was affiliated with the elementary school.
Right.
I think.
But basically, he just kept rising up with them, and then when they were in high school, he was the principal of the high school. And then when they went to college, it was like, I'm not going to be the dean of your college. And then I think he ended up just being a professor at the college.
He was a professor, yeah. He had a meteoric rise in education.
Yeah,
from
he
6th
really
grade
and
college.
And perfectly tracking along
the
Sean.
The complexity of his
Corey.
lectures didn't really advance, though.
No.
Like he gave the same kind of lectures in 6th to 6th
was
grade
still-
as he gave his college.
Yeah,
That's great.
Absolutely.
So what is in Girl Meets World? Is he like? Is he Corey's boss? Or just...
He's now a ghost.
No, I don't know. Well, in the show, he retires to Jackson Hole, but then he unretires to teach college. I don't know what he's doing in Girl Meets
Mr.
World.
Feeney
Yeah.
feels. I feel like if he's not teaching, he's like a shark. If he stops swimming, he's gonna just drop dead.
Yeah, I think you might be right. A lot of educators are like that. The good ones.
So you're saying you don't want your wife to ever retire? You
No,
just want
because
to-
she will drop dead if she gets out of that classroom. But I want to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about the improbably named Ryder Strong, who played Sean Hunter.
I never
on a little
realized
show
how
called Boy Meets World.
ridiculous that name was until you just said it like that.
Ryder Strong, I believe that's his real name.
I just kind of took it for granted as like, yeah, young heartthrob '90s kid. That's a great name. But now when you say it, it makes it sound like a porn star.
Is it because I say it Ryder Strong?
Yeah, you really H there on the writer.
Yeah. He was probably the breakout character on the show. Would that be fair to say? I mean, he was the cool character, the cool guy.
Yeah, I would think Eric would be the breakout character. But yeah, in terms
guess.
of like who the girls went crazy for, I would say it's Sean.
Teen Beat magazine was always said ride her strong.
Oh God!
What, too far?
When you bring Teen
Because he
Beat-
had like the bad boy thing going. He was trailer trash.
He
if
was.
That's still an acceptable term.
yeah, didn't like his
Yeah.
parents die and he was sort of adopted? Or...
Oh man, yeah, he had I believe he just lived with his dad, and his dad was what's his name? He's in all the Adam Sandler movies.
Adam Sandler.
The guy's voice is like this.
It was the little sister from Brooklyn.
Yeah, his little sister. He was okay. That was an unfortunate coincidence because he actually did have a voice.
He actually did sound like that. He was like, "Hey, Sean, how's it going?"
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
That guy. Yeah, he's in The Waterboy. He's in Little Nicky. He's in all the Adam Sandler movies. And if I remember right, he left home to live with Mr. Turner for a while.
Oh, I do.
Then
remember
I
that.
think he went back and like patched things up with his dad. Then the dad.
I thought you were talking about Chet. I was like, the dad did not live with Mr. Turner. And then I realized.
Now that's a show I want to watch.
Yeah, I would watch
Boy
that show.
Meets World.
So I'm sorry, it's the same title, but you emphasize world.
It's the ORL are all capitals.
Oh, okay, that's completely different then. So I think his dad died, and then you found out that Matthew Lawrence was his Jack, yes, his son from another woman, and then they lived together.
I believe
and
the
it's like,
phrase
we're
is
brothers.
I believe the phrase is brother from another mother.
No, I think it's son.
I've never heard
I think
anybody
it's
go.
son.
It's like, oh, it's my son from another woman.
That's gonna catch on, and it's gonna
Son from
become a
another
thing.
woman?
Yeah, son from another woman. It's better than a woman from another son, because that's an alien.
That would be Supergirl.
That would be Supergirl. That is true. But yeah, so Chet got around. Is
Why
was
didn't
the point I'm trying to make?
Why didn't Eric just adopt him?
Because it would have been too much work, and he'd have to drive him back to the
lived
orphanage.
together. Eric lived with the two of them for a while.
Wow.
Yes,
Three
they-
dudes in an apartment.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I know I'm sort of going back to what we were talking about before.
No, go for it.
Another weird Eric life mission for an episode.
Yeah.
Eric wanted to live at a truck stop.
Oh, you cut out. He wants to live at a truck stop, and then what?
and make pie. That was
there was no better way he could have actually finished that sentence.
Yeah, it was worth the repeat.
Because he went there.
That.
Someone was nice to him, and he's like, I could just settle in a place like this. I would do pretty well in a town like this.
I'm not going to argue. There's something to that. I wouldn't mind just.
It's a simple life, Jack. That's what it is.
One stop town.
Yeah, just
making pies
every day and
you can get behind that.
Riding the rails.
Do a podcast about it.
Yeah,
Piecast.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
There you go. That's a fulfilling life.
It could be fulfilling pies with different types of fruits. Apple.
Dan, I want to ask you something because we're talking about Eric. Because we're talking about Sean.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Sean storyline? And then I'll tell you mine, and maybe we're thinking of the same one.
I also have one too.
My favorite Sean storyline.
It's the only one I know.
I actually really liked just his entire romance with Angela, I think was her name, right? When they got to college. I just thought that was a progressive for the time, I think, because she was black and he was white. I just like that.
Who played Angela? Anybody?
She has gone on to do other things. I'll look her up because I can't remember.
Rita Davis McGee, I think.
Oh, this guy's a big fan. Yeah, so I think that whole kind of thing, that's probably my favorite.
What was yours, Brett?
Sean joins a boys' cult.
I do remember that one. That was pretty good too.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite episode of all time.
It's like a cult, like in like the Waco cult, or
kind of. Well, okay, Brett.
The audience and I need some details.
Walk us through this episode, Brett.
Sure. Sean is feeling lost. I don't know. I think it's because Mr. Turner gets in that really terrible bike accident.
So this is a Turner episode. This is Turner early season.
Yeah. I would say it's like season 3 or season 4. So Mr. Turner's on the brink of death. He comes across this girl who lives in this like rec room, I would say. It has like pinball and couches and pool, and it's led by this man with the same Chris Hardwick, Eric Matthews haircut and a turtleneck and a jacket.
A lot of people had that.
Mr. Mac.
Mr. Mac,
and
yes.
It was a cult, and they gave each other hugs, and Eric was this close to joining.
But Corey talked him out of it.
Yeah, Corey's dad kind of saved the day.
All right.
I do want to talk about Mr. Matthews in a second.
Will.
But the only one I can remember the story for Sean is he fell in love with a girl, and Corey also fell in love with her, and I think Corey got her, and he either punched Corey or maybe he just slapped him.
I think if I remember right, he punches like the locker next to Corey because he's so mad.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. He's
and
never going to hit Corey.
Right, and I think they broke up for a little while.
Yeah.
Like a friendship breakup.
Yeah, I remember that distinctly.
Yeah, like a few episode arc.
I bet you that girl, too, I bet you she's somebody now. I feel like maybe I'm thinking of Jennifer Love, what was it, Oswald?
Jennifer Love Pfefferman was her name on the show.
Was it Jennifer Lee Oswald?
No, it wasn't Jennifer Lee Oswald. I feel like what's-her-face might have been an episode or two of Boy Meets World from Freaks and Geeks.
Linda Cardellini?
Linda Cardellini. Wasn't she on? Yeah.
She was the other. She broke up Corey and Topanga.
The ski lift girl, right?
Yes, that was a major dramatic arc.
Yeah, because Corey and Topanga, they were the Ross and Rachel of the Boy Meets of the TGIF set, I would say.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know who was John's girlfriend at one point? Larissa Olenek.
Yes,
that's who.
I do remember that.
Larissa Olenek from
Alex Mack. 10 Things I Hate About You. A little show called Mad Men.
One episode.
Yeah. Yep. You saying we're going to talk about Mr. Matthews before, by the way, made me remember something I hadn't thought about in a bunch of years.
Feeney calling Corey Mr. Matthews.
Yeah, well, it's related to that. So I had a friend in college, actually. I think you might know who I'm talking about. He had a speaker in his car that you could like talk through, and it was like like the police would have, like a loudspeaker under the hood of his car. So you could actually get on a thing and like talk to people outside the car.
Oh, I knew a guy in high school that had that.
Yeah, so we would go to like the supermarket or just drive around, and I got on it once and I just went, Mr. Matthews, it's me, Night Ride. And people were very, very confused.
I never knew that story. That's great.
Yeah. That was a good time.
I knew a guy who had that. who would drive me to bowling every once in a while.
Oh, okay.
And it was really fun. Like he would be really obnoxious with it at a red light and just talk shit to people. And to this day, I kind of wish I still had that. It's kind of it's too powerful a tool for you know how like the aliens come down in those old Twilight Zone episodes, like humanity is not ready for nuclear power.
Yeah.
Teenagers are not ready for PA speakers in their cars.
Yeah, not at all. There's a reason it's not standard.
They're gonna just do Mr. Feeney impressions all day long.
Because you have to do Knight Rider stuff. What else are you gonna do?
Except Knight Rider didn't really do speaker.
Maybe he did, and you just didn't see that episode.
I saw the episode where Kit falls in love with Michael Knight's girlfriend, and he punches the locker.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then he joined that cult.
So, Mr. Matthews, the actor that played the father, he was in a couple of things.
He was. I'm trying to pull up IMDb, and it's not working so well. But wasn't he in? I feel like he was in Dukes of Hazzard or something. I don't know why that's in my head, but that's not what it is.
You're thinking of the first husband from Sybil.
I don't know. He
am.
pops up from time to time, and
he's like that guy.
Yeah, he's like, okay, like the dad in Home Alone, how he'll just pop up and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Hey, he raped a girl in that
in
187. Was it
187?
It was one of those high school urban high school movies.
Yeah, and then he was the corrupt what's his face on The Sopranos, right?
That would be a bad time for the audio to cut out after he raped a girl
in a movie. Oh boy!
And then he wanted to make pies.
And then he joined that cult. Woo! Yeah, what was his name, Mr. Matthews?
And William Russ.
Corey is Mr.
William Russ. Yeah. But I mean, like Corey's dad, and his mother was Alan Matthews. Yes. William Russ. He was in
American History X.
Right.
The Right Stuff. Girl Meets World.
He also in like Mystic River or something, like a very gritty drama.
He's like a working actor. His IMDb.
He was also
been
in
around.
Sopranos.
I didn't know that. But I feel like he was on something else. Like he was, but even before Boy Meets World, he was known for some other show.
Deadwood. Brett's right in that he's a character actor. He's in fucking everything.
Yeah.
As for was he famous for something? He was in Wise Guy, the Michael Mann 80s TV show.
That must be what I'm thinking of, even though I've never seen it.
He was in St. Elsewhere.
I bet that's where him and William Daniels got together, and he said, "You should be on this show with me, Boy Meets World."
When did Mr. Feeney become like a old Maine guy on a porch?
Mr. Matthews.
That was also a thing in the show where at one point they're like, "Are you British?" Because they all thought that Mr. Feeney was British, and he was from Boston. He said he's from Boston, but it's unclear.
He didn't sound very Boston.
There was a made-for-TV movie. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna. I don't remember what year. It was like mid-90s, and it was The Lottery. It was a remake. It was not a remake. It was an adaptation of the famous short story.
Yep,
Shirley Jackson. It starred Kerry Russell, and William Daniels is in it as like the head of the town that stones people every year.
Right.
And it's just like, oh my God, Mr. Feeney breaking type here.
Yeah, really.
Kerry Russell, also a girlfriend of Eric Matthews. And Mr.
Was
Feeney's niece in an early episode.
Oh,
they probably met on the set of The Lottery, and he's just I've got a part for you.
You need to come over here. You could date Mr. Matthews. Oh, man. Man, Eric had a lot of girlfriends now that I'm thinking back. And there were a lot of... Yeah. He did pretty well for himself in the 90s, Will Friedel.
I've got a question for you Uber fans here.
Okay.
So Fred Savage and Ben Savage. Fred Savage is Ben Savage's brother. Ben Savage played Corey Matthews, if you don't know. Fred Savage is his brother in real life. Fred Savage is Kevin Arnold from The Wonder Years.
Yep.
They shared a few movies together in the 80s.
Yeah.
Fred Savage is very much
They were definitely both in Little Monsters.
Yeah, and Fred Savage is very much in TV now. He's a director, and he's not afraid to play up, the nostalgic role of The Wonder Years. He's very happy with where his career's gone.
Yeah.
Did he do anything on Boy Meets World?
Yes.
Yeah, he was, but I don't remember what he played.
Well, Brett's gonna fill us in.
Brett, let us know.
It's crazy. Like I haven't thought about this in a while. I'm very impressed with how much I'm remembering about this.
Yeah.
So are we.
And
definitely.
He played a college professor who kind of hit on Topanga.
Ooh.
Kind of sexual harassed her.
I do remember that.
And Corey defended her honor by shoving him.
And then he hit a locker.
Yeah, he hit a locker.
Man, there's
in his dorm.
Yeah, in his dorm. They had one of those dorm lockers.
There's some intense Romulus and Remus going on there.
I think so. I think they were working some stuff out.
They tackled some real issues in the show. It was ahead of its time.
Yeah,
all right,
you missed out, Jack.
So no, yeah, convince me. What was the biggest thing I've missed by not watching those later seasons?
Good question. I mean,
Matthew Lawrence. Your love of Matthew Lawrence is well known.
I do
Jack.
love Matthew Lawrence. He's my favorite of the Lawrence brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, Joey Lawrence is a close second, but Matthew Lawrence is number one.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The littlest.
Well, you cut out there.
The one from that show where the three of them were brothers.
Oh, the littlest one. He was very cute in what was that? Thunder Alley? No,
Something like that.
The Lawrences.
Thunder Alley sounds like a porno.
Thunder Alley was with Haley Joel Osment.
Starring Ride Her Strong.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it was a show about a car shop run by a single mom, Haley Joel Osment, who was so adorable at the time.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Ed Asner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. I feel like there should have been a show called The Littlest Lawrence, starring the titular Littlest Lawrence.
I know. I'm a big Matthew Lawrence fan because of Superhuman.
Oh, we know.
Cyber Squad. Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
He was
Servo.
not Tom Servo.
That's a different show. Also 90s, but not him.
Wait, what?
Mystery Science Theater? That's Tom Servo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for some reason
Crow.
I was thinking Tom Servo was Hitchhiker's Guide.
Oh no, that's Ford Prefect.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything.
Oh, that's who I was thinking.
Yeah, that's it. That's Mos Def, Jack. We actually haven't really talked about Ben Savage at all. So he played Corey Matthews.
Yeah. Here's another reason why the first season's my favorite. He
Okay.
was so fucking adorable. I think
He's a cute kid.
He carried the show, I think, the first season. Like he's the reason the show was a hit because he had a natural charisma. He was really funny.
Yeah.
He was doing almost like old Catskills type humor. As a sixth grader, like he was the lead of that show in the way Seinfeld was the lead of Seinfeld.
Sure.
Like he just had this, yeah.
You know, I saw something, I don't remember where it was, but it was something online that kind of had a picture of the whole Matthews family. And instead of saying Boy Meets World at the top, it said, one old Jew in a family of wasps. Because, like, that's what the show was. He was like, he's so out of place if you look at that family. They're all, like, perfect looking, like perfect hair, perfect jawline, and he's like a little kid with a Jew fro who's awkward. And that's the show. And that was his charm, though.
Yeah, he was great.
Right.
I think he was so funny.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I kind of fell out of it because once it started becoming more high school drama, which I had no interest in because like I just couldn't relate to the idea of girl trouble because I didn't have girl trouble.
Yeah.
I didn't have girls.
I didn't have girls, yeah.
But yeah, I felt like he kind of lost his borscht belt.
Well, I don't know
character.
about that. I feel like they did play up the fact, like, even on the show, his character, Corey, was supposed to be, like an old soul kind of thing. Like, he liked to just stay in and, like, watch a movie instead of going out.
Should have been called Man Meets World.
Yeah, kind of. Like, I remember, he was very grumpy and, like, afraid of new experiences, and Sean would always have to drag him along. Like, I feel like that became his defining character trait at one point and towards the end. But
yeah, for a while he would tuck in his like into his jeans, and that was kind of a way to represent who he was as a person. Whereas Sean, like that was their dynamic.
Yeah, Sean was no tucking for Sean. He had a leather jacket and a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
I was trying to look up. Some...
like Corey. Like one of my favorite jokes in the show, and I think it sort of defines Corey's character.
Sure.
He leans up against the wall and he's like, I just don't see what is unique about myself. And then behind him is a poster that just has a big stick of celery and it says celery. Which is like why the show was great. It had this like a silly kind of weird sense of humor about itself.
That's amazing. Celery.
That's amazing. I kind of want that poster.
Yeah, I kind of do too. Oh man, I remember. I'm just thinking like about old Boy Meets World episodes. Now there was one where I think it was the one they were sharing a room, Eric and Corey, and I distinctly remember Eric cutting his toenails and like he was trying to hit Corey with them and like snap them off and like hit Corey in the back or in the face or something, and that led to like we need our own rooms.
Well, they would play they played a baseball game that was sort of based on clipping your toenails. And like a double would be a thing, and a home run.
Right. Yes, they were trying to get distance on their toenails, which I've never ever once in my life replicated. I clip them and they fall right to the ground.
Mine sink like a stone.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
We'll save that for our toenail podcast.
Okay.
So I don't have the audio hooked up to my computer because we're using it to get Brett's beautiful voice. But I just want to play one quick clip just so people can get an idea. This is season 1 Corey. I don't know what this clip is, but it looks like it might be relevant.
Okay. Yeah.
In terms of what we're talking about with the old Jew humor in a what was he, 12, 11?
He probably started off as 12. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna just play a quick clip.
Got a good feeling about this. Your trophy's in the bag, and I'm going to be handing out bats at the Fall Classic. Here you are, Mr. Bonds. Pinch it for you? Why, it'd be my pleasure.
So like he's got like this old man delivery. Like,
He's
old
yeah.
soul,
I would definitely agree that his delivery is very like vaudeville, like you said before. Like he's like, I'm playing it up, like here I am, kids, and I go to school here.
I'm actually excited. Like I know he's playing the dad on this Disney show right now.
Yeah.
I'm excited for him to be an old man. He could be a very funny character actor in like old school sitcoms.
You think he's gonna have like some late career resurgence because he'll finally have grown into the age he always was?
Yeah. He'll be, what's Corey short for? He'll be like Corinth, Corinth Matthews.
Yep, it's Corinth. It's Corinth. Is what Corey is short for.
Corinth.
He'll have like a bushy white. I'm basically picturing Albert Einstein. Wait, is there a reason for that?
They should do a biopic about Albert Einstein and get Ben Savage to play Albert Einstein.
Am I completely pulling that out of my ass, or is there an episode where he's dressed up as Albert Einstein?
No, I think they flash forward in the future and show Sean and Corey as old men.
Yes,
okay.
And they're like talking about the pickles at the table and the delis and.
I don't know.
Classic.
I feel like if you were to make a movie called Young Einstein, it was about Albert Einstein as like a 12-year-old boy in Philadelphia.
Right.
And Corey Matthews would have played him.
Okay. Well, get on that movie.
Equals MC squared.
Over here, over there. The Phillies are going all the way.
You know, that never was a movie. Like they did Kid President. Like they've done Kid Baseball Player. They never did Kid Theoretical Physics.
Yeah, no, they did. They should. What was
They did War Games. He was like kid computer scientist.
Yeah, he's a teenager.
All right. that throws that movie out the window.
They should do the Manhattan Project Kids.
They should.
Like a baby Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer babies. That's what they should do. They're bringing Muppet Babies back. Bring back Oppenheimer babies.
They should.
I want to see that show. Like they have that show Manhattan is like all about the bomb project. You know, do a spin-off. Manhattan Kids.
Boy Hatton.
Nailed it.
I think
Well
America
done.
is ready for that reboot.
Yeah, I think so too.
Patent pending.
And then we'll get Will Friedel to have talking Boy Hatton.
I'm writing a script tonight called Boy Hatton.
Done.
I'm
Awesome.
gonna Google that. Has somebody had to have come up with the word Boy Hatton?
I don't know. Is this a 90p first? It could be. Should we talk about Topanga a little bit? We haven't talked about her at all. Danielle Fishel.
Yeah, let's talk about Topanga.
Let's talk about her. Like, 'cause I mentioned it before that she was in the first season. She was kind of like out there and weird. She was like the hippie girl, and then slowly over time, she just became the smart, normal girl who was endlessly in love with Corey.
Yep, it's true. Another character transformation. I guess they figured
Completely.
if she was going to be the love interest for the whole show, being like a girl who calls her parents by their first names and like sits Indian style and puts lipstick on her face wouldn't be sustainable.
I guess.
I would guess.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I never loved that version of Topanga anyway.
Me neither. I felt like it was kind of lame, like to have her be like a hippie star child girl, because that wasn't a thing in the 90s. Like there weren't a lot of children who were acting and behaving that way, so it never felt.
Nope.
You know, Minkus, we haven't really talked about Minkus either, but they were definitely big nerds. I was one of them, and Minkus was the perfect example of that.
But in terms of like relatable, like Jack was saying, like, oh, I couldn't relate to the girl problems because I didn't have any girlfriends.
Yeah.
Like, there were no nerds like that, and there were no, like all those 90s tropes.
Right.
They were totally not based. I think they were based on like the reality of the writers when they were in school in the 70s.
Maybe. You could be onto something there, because I remember, especially like Saved by the Bell, which was only a few years before Boy Meets World, they had like the stereotypical nerds who had like the taped up glasses, and they always had pocket protectors. And I've never in my life ever seen a pocket protector.
No.
I've only ever heard about it in the context of nerds in TV shows.
Yeah, that was a staple.
Yeah.
That was a staple.
Like,
and the taped up glasses.
Yeah, right. I mean, you just get new glasses. Well, I guess you could tape them up, but you wouldn't use that stupid, like, white masking tape.
Was that like supposed to be a sort of a statement that the nerds were poor because they couldn't afford new glasses?
I guess, but if they're so smart, they should be rich. These nerds.
That's true.
Buy your own glasses.
But Minkus was like that too. He didn't have the taped up glasses, but he was as nerdy
No,
as
he didn't.
could be.
Yeah.
Although I saw a recently like a clickbait article that said you'll never believe how hot these child stars are.
Right.
And one of them was Minkus.
Well, because Minkus went on to be in One Tree Hill, I think.
Oh,
like
really?
one of these like teen CW shows. He became like a bit of a heartthrob.
Oh.
So
I have a follow-up question about this article that you looked at. Was Jonathan Lipnicki in that article? Because I know he's like a bodybuilder.
Yeah,
now.
he was. Yeah.
He's a bodybuilder now? Damn. The littlest vampire?
Do you know that the
the littlest vampire Lawrence?
Do you know that
I'd watch that movie.
The average human bicep is 6 pounds? By the way, just flashing back about 5 minutes, I did look up Boy Hatton.
Yeah.
It's a popular cocktail alternative to the Manhattan, more formally called the Poor Boys Manhattan, comprised of whiskey, ginger beer, and red box wine.
Oh.
It was originally concocted in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn for young lovers.
I was going to say, it's a like some kind of kids version of a Manhattan
I'm assuming
without liquor, but then you said whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming the guy who wrote this it's just something he made up.
Yeah, probably.
You can't really go by Urban
Is
Dictionary.
this I've made up Urban Dictionary.
Urban
things
Dictionary
in the past.
also, it says trending now, ass hash, clock spider, dense breast, and figging.
Figging?
F-I-G-G.
Can you look up what figging is?
It's a peeled ginger root shaped like a slender butt plug. It started off so
innocent, and then you got to slender butt plug.
I was like, oh, that's okay. Like urban. I didn't know there was an urban slang for ginger, but
Yeah.
a peeled ginger root shaped like a slender butt plug inserted into the anus without lubrication of any kind. The
That's
ginger
amazing.
juices cause pain and
Is that on the homepage?
the ginger juices cause pain and extreme horniness.
So there you go, guys. Figging.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
It lasts about 20 minutes or more, depending on the freshness and the strength of the ginger.
Oh, man. All right. So
That's on the homepage. Is that?
Yeah, this is
that's
trending now.
Yeah, trending on Urban Dictionary right now.
Oh, it's trending.
Yeah. So this is something the kids are doing.
Use it in a sentence.
Seasonal thing, I guess.
Use the example sentence. Mistress Karen loved figging her slaves when they misbehaved.
Oh, my God.
They writhed and begged so beautifully.
That's terrible.
Also, this is trending right now, but I just looked. It's by Abby from December 3, 2004. So it's been
That is
trending for 12 years.
Well, figging is very popular, Jack.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you typed in some lovable characters from Boy Meets World into Urban Dictionary if they had crazy.
All right, let's check it out.
Give me a character.
Try Minkus. M-I-N-K, yeah.
Okay,
Let's see what Minkus brings up on Urban Dictionary. This is a new segment on the show.
A minkus is a very small, tan organism that has a unique skill set still to be discovered.
What?
I buy it. He was short. He
For
wore
example,
a lot of khaki pants,
here's
and
it
he was
used.
smart.
Yeah.
Use in a sentence. Minkus, you're so fucked.
Okay, very
That's a-
descriptive sentence.
Yeah, that was not a context clue sentence by any means.
What was who's the one you like? Eric Matthews.
Sure.
All right,
I'm sure Mr. Feeney is in here too.
Oh yeah, we gotta
gotta be.
definitely
We'll do
look
that
up
one
Mr.
too.
Feeney. He's a character from 90s TV show Boy Meets World. That's definition number 1. Definition number 2, hot. H-O-T-T period.
Well, you know what? Urban
Did you write
Dictionary
that?
is right. I did.
Here's a sample sentence. Eric Matthews, brother to Corey Matthews and Morgan Matthews.
Oh, that was her name, Morgan.
is so
Lily
hot. Who was Lily? Oh,
Uh-oh.
we lost our
We
guest.
lost Brett. Well, we're going to try and get him back because we still got
I'm
7
back.
Oh, there he is.
Hey,
Hey,
there
all right,
you
good.
I know-
Crisis averted.
That was a hot take we just dropped on you, and you froze your whole computer.
You were like, it's Morgan Matthews. What? Oh, man.
Okay, one more.
All right, we're looking at Mr. Feeney on Urban Dictionary. We'll see what we get.
There's Mr. Fellatio.
All right, we'll look that one up too, and then we'll be done.
When you are conflicted about something, a.k.a. on the fence about it, like Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
Oh, boy.
Derek, yo, are we going to go to Lisa's party? James, don't know yet. I'm Mr. Feeney.
Don't know yet. I'm Mr. Feeney.
So Mr. Feeney means I'm
like
on the
that.
fence, which
Yeah.
it really should be a Wilson. Like that should be
It
called.
should be a Wilson. Yeah.
But I'm going to start doing that. I'm Mr. Feeney for I'm on the fence about it.
Something we haven't talked about yet that we definitely have to before we run out of time is Eric also had the Feeney call. Brett, I'm assuming you remember this, where he would go up to Mr. Feeney and he would just go, Feeney. And this became a running thing, like to give him a catchphrase.
So, Brett, what context would he use this for?
It was Mace, like I guess mainly
Well, we're losing.
for kind of like advice in a timely manner.
Right.
Like Wilson.
He would go to the fence and then yell that to summon Mr. Feeney from his house while he was, or sometimes like Mr. Feeney would be gardening.
Yeah. Like Feeney was definitely Eric Matthews' like role model. Like he tried to learn from him.
It really does sound exactly like Wilson from Home Improvement.
But it's what if Wilson was also Jonathan Taylor Thomas's teacher?
And you could see his face.
Big difference, and you could see his face. Yeah.
Huh.
What are we assuming? Wilson had like a horrible scar or something, or like what's going on there?
You know what? I'm pretty sure I could be wrong on this. I'm pretty sure you saw all of Wilson's face. I'm pretty sure sometimes they show the top half, sometimes they show the bottom half.
Right. Okay. So the joke wasn't what's he hiding on that face.
The joke was he got half a face.
Right.
Yeah.
Be great if he was like it was like Two-Face, like just the bottom half of him is just horribly scarred.
Falcone and Maroni threw acid in his face.
Yeah. Right. But he was standing in front of a very high fence,
An acid-proof fence.
Yeah, an acid-proof fence. Oh boy.
I love that even when that actor, like they did the good night,
At the end of
what do you
the
call it?
taping.
Like a curtain call type thing.
Things, he would come out and he would have like a little mini fence on a popsicle stick and cover it with his face.
He wouldn't break the fourth
that.
wall.
Dedication.
The fourth fence.
I love that. That's awesome.
Well, he's dead now. He's one of the few dead actors
Downer.
from Home Improvement. Yeah, Earl.
Oh.
Something Earl. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, he passed
What
away.
about Zachary Ty Bryan's career?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That's such a Corey Matthews joke.
That's true. All the ZTB fans out there are really getting riled up now.
But yeah, he died. I will say several years ago. I wonder if it was an open casket and they put a fence
come
over the bottom.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I don't think so. Tim.
I don't think so, Tim. All right, Brett, we are running out of time. I think we just have just about
4 minutes.
4 minutes left. So what else do you want to tell us about Boy Meets World? What's your favorite episode of Boy Meets World, I guess? Did we cover that?
No.
I really loved when Sean joins that cult. I think that was a out there topic. Or some other good ones.
I want to hear about this Halloween episode.
Okay, it is Halloween, so let's talk about this. I love the Halloween episode. It's the only episode of Boy Meets World that I had on VHS tape because I recorded it off of ABC. Basically, I forget who it was. One of them's asleep, and they have a nightmare where they're trapped in the high school, and there's a serial killer on the loose. And one by one, they all get killed. It's the
Jeez,
entire cast.
that's dark.
And it's actually pretty dark, which is why I liked it. It was such an out of character episode of Boy Meets World. At the end, it turned out it was all a dream, and also
You didn't know it was a dream at the time.
You didn't know it was a dream at the time. Spoiler alert: it was Jennifer Love Hewitt who was doing all the killing.
Oh,
I
she knew what
think.
you did last summer.
That's
Brett,
exactly
did you
right.
like this episode?
What I thought was funny about it was how, like at the time, it was cutting edge stuff.
Yeah.
But how incredibly, incredibly dated it is now because it was solely based on Scream
Yes.
and South Park. Because there was a character named Kenny who died just so Eric can say, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny."
I completely forgot about
And
that.
his name's
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, layers.
Although I guess
Boy
Kyle
Meets World.
usually says it, but
That's true.
Stan.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the they killed Kenny thing, but yeah, that was definitely an ongoing thing. But they didn't actually. I'm just like remembering unlocking things in my brain. They never actually finished saying the line for some reason.
Oh, is
if
it
I remember right.
copyrighted?
No, well, I don't think so. But I think that if I remember right, they would go, "Oh my God, they killed Ken," and then they would all run off screen. Like they were Scooby-Doo characters.
I don't remember that. I thought he actually just said it, and it got a huge laugh.
I don't know.
Maybe-
I'm gonna have to watch this episode. It is Halloween. I recommend
Do you have
all
a
of
big
us watch
research
it.
department at the podcast who
Just-
can look that up?
Yeah, we'll get our intern on it.
How many interns do you guys have over there?
Oh, we got a whole fleet. we got 12.
I'm assuming if you turn the thing around, there's going to be like a whole team.
Yeah, there's this. But you can't see them,
Yeah.
but they're hard at work looking up all of the Boy Meets World questions we have.
You don't think I was actually looking up all those Urban Dictionary
No,
entries?
I don't think so.
I don't
No.
We were getting that from the booth where we cram in all the interns.
Okay, so one of our interns found a YouTube video that's South Park in other shows. The intern is going to have to skim through it and find the Boy Meets World.
That intern better hurry. We're running out of time.
Where did your intern go to college?
To Pembroke.
There you go. It's Corey Matthews is one of our interns. Is this the television series Arthur? Oh, there it is. We found Boy Meets World. Hopefully we can actually hear it. Oh, that's right. He did a bunch of South Park things.
South Park was huge then.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, you know.
They killed Vinny?
That's what it was. They couldn't say you bastards. So they went, you and then they'd all run away.
Oh,
that's what
that
it
makes
was.
sense.
But he
Yeah.
said Kenny or he said Vinny?
He said that you killed Feeney.
Oh,
I don't know who Vinny is. Yeah, oh my God, they
No,
killed
there was
Feeney.
definitely. I know that because it was so contrived.
No,
it was like there was never a Kenny in the rest of the show.
Yes, I agree with you. There was a Kenny in that episode. I'm going to track down this episode. I'm going to have to watch it because I watched it several times, but probably not in the past 15 years. So I'm going off of memory, which I don't think is too bad. We're running out of time.
It's kind of scary. I remember watching South Park as not as an adult, but as a coming of age child, and that was 20 fucking years ago.
Yeah, I remember watching the first episode of South Park live on Comedy Central in 1997.
I didn't start until week 2.
Yeah. Oh, I beat you
after
by
all-
1 week,
yeah,
Jack.
after all the kids talked about it on week 1.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
All right, that's it. Our time has just run out. There's our helpful timer.
Wow,
An hour flew by, right, Brett?
that was fun.
Yeah.
I would do this show every week and talk about a different 90s sitcom.
We'll talk about a different Boy Meets World episode
Well, we'll
every
definitely
week.
have to have you back on again.
We'll have you back on, but we're not done yet because, Brett, I'm going to turn to you, and I'm going to ask you. You didn't know we were going to do this, but there's a quiz. What did you learn today? What did you learn today on this episode?
Oh, that's a good question. I would have. If you had told me that was going to be the thing, I would have found something.
That's why it's a pop quiz, Mr. Matthews.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
I would say I didn't know that the actor who played Wilson
Is
died.
dead.
Yeah.
Sad.
Earl
That is sad.
Hinman, I want to say is
Earl
his name.
Hinman.
I don't know if that's true, but it sounds right.
It sounds like
Actually,
it
it
could be an
doesn't
actor's
sound
name.
right. It looks right. I'm thinking about the opening credits.
Okay. Jack, what did you learn today?
I learned that if you're on the fence about something, that's a Mr. Feeney.
That's true. Very good. What did I learn today? I learned that I need to rewatch that Halloween episode of Boy Meets World, but there was definitely something else that
We
we were
all learned
talking
that
about.
the daughter's name is Morgan.
We did all learn that. Yeah, that's true. I learned that I'm going to call up Eric Matthews or Will Friedel's people, and we're going to get this talking girl show off the ground. So,
Jack, can
I'll do
you
what I can.
watch the Trojan War?
I would love to. Yeah, maybe we'll do a sync points.
Oh, maybe. I don't know if it's available anywhere because that is not a movie that people have seen other than Brett and I.
I'll watch it and do a live tweet.
All right, we'll do that. Brett, I want to thank you so much for being our guest tonight. You were terrific. This was great. So thanks so much for doing it. We'd love to have you back. But for now, our listeners, where can they find you online? You have anything you want to plug? Twitter?
Definitely. Wait, check out
I'm
that
on
Funny or
Twitter at Jungle2Brett.
At Jungle to Brett.
Check out that Funny or Die video. The
Yeah,
420.
we'll post the 420 video somewhere. And Mad TV's
And
on the
go
CW,
on Hulu,
right?
And go on Hulu and watch Mad TV.
There you go.
They're all on Hulu. For
Check
the new
out
season.
Mad TV. You'll go mad on Halloween for it.
That's one of our sketches.
Et cetera, et cetera.
It's just Dan
right.
doing his vampire voice.
Yeah.
It's just cut to me like, whoa, we'll drive you mad.
They were like, Brett, you got it. Hey, new guy, you got any sketches? I knew this guy back in college. He did a mean vampire voice.
I am available if you need me. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I'm at ThenDanSays.
I'm at Jackie No Breaks. And speaking of Hulu, after you watch Mad TV, there's a movie on Hulu you should watch.
Oh.
It's a little movie called Air Force One.
Is that the Get Off My Plane? Is that one?
That's the movie.
That's a good one. Check that
it's
out.
not Air Force Two
Nope.
with the famous catchphrase, "Get on my plane."
Right?
I'm the vice president. It's empty in here.
Yeah.
Why am I plugging Air Force One?
You're plugging Air Force One because we just released today, probably? Or are
tomorrow.
releasing?
Let's
We're
say
released
tomorrow.
tomorrow. We're releasing a Sync Points. Jack and I did a commentary for the movie Air Force One with friend of the show, Harry Nelson. That's going to be available for $2 on our website, wepodcast.com. Check it out. It's a good time. It's like 2.5 hours long.
You don't know if you should vote Clinton. You don't know if you should vote Trump.
Right.
Vote We Studios.
Yeah, vote President Harrison Ford. That's what you vote for. If you want that or any old episodes of this show or other show, worst episode ever, go to wepodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com. And while you're there, click our Amazon links. That helps the show stay free. Or you can just go amazon.wepodcast.com and go right to Amazon. Jack, if people don't want to spend any money but they want to support the show, what can they do?
They can give me personally some money.
That's right. Every little bit helps.
I need to pay the rent.
Need to pay that
No,
rent.
they can leave us some iTunes reviews, preferably, mandatorily, 5 stars.
5 stars would be good. 4 stars would be terrible. We want 5 stars only. We
I
only have
hate
5 stars
jinxing it.
now.
I hate jinxing it, but we have nothing but 5 stars.
Yeah.
And,
We
kind of want
do.
to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Don't troll us. Give us a 1 star and say, Jack and Dan suck Feeney.
Classic
Oh.
Classic Urban Dictionary use of Feeney. Yes. And if you do leave a review, a 5-star review on iTunes, you can have it be read on the show, like the review we are going to read now.
Brett, why don't you take it, since you're our guest?
Sure. This one, the topic, it's by Red642345.
Thank
and
you,
it's
Red.
Nostalgia and laughs, 5 stars. It's like a ride in a time machine. It's like a ride in N time machine with your 2 best friends. If the time machine can only go to the 90s, a must listen if you're a fan of worst episode ever.
All right.
Hey, thank you, Red 655.
Red 1429687.
Also, we should mention that we emailed Brett this review.
Yes.
But it was a typo the first time. So, according to some other Brett Greenberg somewhere who thinks we're just emailing people our 5-star reviews.
Yes, which maybe that's a good way to get
we'll
new
start
listeners.
doing
We
that,
should
yeah.
just start doing that,
One
sending
at
it to
a
random
time.
emails. Oh, my God. All right, Brett. Thank you so much for doing this. We'd love to have you back sometime, and people should follow you on Twitter, watch Matt TV, check out all that good stuff.
Thank you, Brett. And that's it. My name is Jack.
My name is Dan, and we'll see you in another decade.